If you're after the ultimate in chauffeur-driven luxury motoring, this is pretty much it. It's the top spec Lexus LM 500h Ultra Luxury. I love this thing because it's just so wild and goes so far to pamper the rear seat passengers. Just quickly, it looks pretty much the same as the 350h. It's got Lexus's massive grille at the front, big slab-like torso, and then yeah, the latest trend for Lexus, a full width tail light. Plenty of attention to detail in there as well in the tail lights. Lots of chrome around the window trims, and I actually really like these wheels. They're a little bit 90s, but I reckon it looks cool and it suits this style of vehicle. They're wrapped in 225/55 Michelin Primacy SUV tyres. But a vehicle like this is not about the exterior, it's about the interior. And perhaps even less so, the front seat area. But it is very luxurious. You've got some wood trimming across the dash there. Lots of soft leather. I love Lexus leather. It's very, very soft to touch. And I love the way the temperature controls are hidden within the little toggle there. But yeah, it's the latest touchscreen setup. So you do have a lot of blank space in certain menus, but then others it kind of fills it up a little bit. And then lots of physical buttons, including to open and close the rear doors. The main attraction here though is this rear seat area. You've got a full extending and reclining seat in the back, and then this massive 48-inch screen. Look at that. Apparently that's a world first in terms of size. You've got this little portal window to your drivers in the front, but you can actually close it with a button down here, and you can completely block them off at the touch of a button. It goes all opaque. Twin phones down here, so you've got separate controls. You can actually take these out. You can close, then open and shut the windows from here. But you do have some side blinds as well. You want complete privacy. Full climate control, obviously, and it's separate left to right. Neat little cup holders. Even a little table so you can work away on your laptop or whatever you need to do. And of course, down below here, a fridge for your champagne. Also got some storage down there on both sides. And then neat little pockets in the back with some charging options on both sides as well. 23 speaker Mark Levinson sound system. Yeah, this is definitely a vehicle that you want to be driven around in rather than drive, but we'll go for a drive and see how it handles, see how it goes. Under the bonnet, we've got Lexus's latest 2.4 turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine paired with hybrid technology. The petrol engine alone produces 200 kilowatts, but then paired with the hybrid technology, you've got a combined output of 273 kilowatts. So very powerful for a van like this, or a people mover like this. Now out on the road, the engine is quiet and fairly refined and smooth when you want it to be, but when you need to do some overtaking or something, like I'll show you the kickdown performance, slow down to about 60, full throttle, there's a bit of noise and a bit of sort of roughness to this engine. It is a big capacity 4-cylinder, being 2.4 litres, so naturally it's going to be a bit louder than a typical 2-litre 4-cylinder, but it's got a bit of aggression there, which is surprising. It does feel punchy though. It feels like you could overtake on the highway with no problem, even with some guests in the back. So I think it is a good powertrain. 273 kilowatts, there's no arguing against that. That's quite potent, even though this thing does weigh just under 2.5 tons. So it's like 2,475 kilograms, quite heavy. It does have adaptive suspension. It's actually got a rear comfort mode suspension as well. So you can hit that and you'll get a bit more comfort in the back end, but when you're driving along, you can actually feel it sort of bouncing a little bit more than the standard setup. But it is good to have those options. So if you're driving around the city, where you're not driving on a high speed road like this, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit soft. It's more comfortable for the passengers in the back. And by the way, I do like the way that it has this little button down here. This is not featured on Toyota models, even though that top section is pretty much identical to Toyota models. So you hit that, that's always there. Then you've got a sort of jump to main menu setup, so you can turn the lane keep assist off, for example, or change the driving modes and so on. In terms of that handling, I'll put it into the sport mode. It feels pretty good on the road actually for this style of vehicle. Again, this is quite heavy. But yeah, I could take this down a nice winding road and I don't feel like I'm driving a bus. Like, it does have that sort of Lexus luxury quality to it. Nice steering as well, it just glides around corners. But yeah, it just depends on what mode, I guess. If you put it in the rear comfort mode, sorry, my phone's just rattling about. If you put it in the rear comfort mode, it does, as I said, feel a little bit bouncy, and I probably wouldn't use that mode on a road like this. But yeah, flick it over to normal or sport and it becomes pretty normal. It's just a conventional, nice, refined people mover. In terms of fuel consumption, the official average rating is 6.6 litres per 100 kilometres. It's got a 60 litre fuel tank. That converts to a theoretical range of around 900 kilometres per tank using that official rating. Now I'm averaging 10.3 at the moment, but I have done performance testing, so that's not really a real world representation of what you'd get driving in normal conditions. And I think being a hybrid, driving around the city and suburbs and so on, which is probably where this is going to be spending most of its time, you'll get even lower again, because the electric motor is able to assist getting it off the line. It's when you're out on the open road, hybrids tend not to be as economical as, you know, potentially a petrol or diesel model where it can just, you know, steam along with very low revs. This still does that, but it's got to charge the battery a little bit as well. There is an eco mode if you want to really trim it down, but I reckon you could get that down to the 8s at least per 100 kilometers with normal driving. If you're in the market for a vehicle like this, chances are you run some sort of business, driving around VIP guests and so on. I think it's worth noting that this is nice to drive as well. It's not just about the rear passengers. Although you have all those gadgets and toys to play around with and that huge screen in the back, it's actually nice to drive. For a van or a people mover, I would happily take this for a nice big road trip. It feels comfortable, it's smooth, it's relaxing. All of those Lexus qualities come through. It doesn't feel like a commercial vehicle or commercial van that's been tarted up with luxury. It actually feels like a Lexus most of the time. Just that engine is a little bit rough in my opinion. For a vehicle like this, it's a nice engine, it's got plenty of power. It just feels a tiny bit rough and it's a bit noisy for a vehicle like this, but I am happy that it doesn't have artificial sound coming through the speakers. I don't think that's not what this vehicle is about. All right, let's head out now and do the performance test and see what it goes like.